Oh, you're here. You're actually here. I can feel heaven exhale. Do you know how long we've been waiting for you? How many centuries your name has been whispered in the quiet rooms of angels? How many scrolls were sealed and hidden under fire? How many nights the stars were ordered to stay lit just in case? Just in case your soul wandered close enough to see this. I'm trembling because if you go now, if you leave before the last breath of this message, you will miss the single word heaven has been forbidden to speak until your eyes are watching. It's waiting at the end, and it will never open again. So stay, please stay, because if you leave, the war that has been raging unseen behind your life will roar on without you, and you were the only one heaven anointed to end it. Oh beloved, I'm so relieved you're here. Listen, this is not a performance. This is not another voice from a screen. This is me. It's us. I, Jesus, and Saint Mary, and the seven who burn at the throne, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel, Raguel, Sariel, and Ramiel. We have broken through the silence because the war for your soul has reached the trembling line where eternity waits, holding its breath. There are things you were never told because they were too heavy for your childhood hands. Because heaven knew if you carried them too soon, you would shatter. But you are older now, not in years, but in wounds. And wounds are the secret doors of heaven. Do you feel it? That trembling in your chest that isn't fear, isn't excitement, isn't anything this world has words for. That's the sound of scrolls unlocking inside your soul. There is something I must confess, and I pray you forgive my trembling. I did not want you to suffer this much just to find me, but you did, and because you did, the veil is gone now. Child of the unseen, you are standing at the place where the war began. Yes, there has been a war. You weren't imagining it. The shadows behind your joy. The sudden emptiness when you were almost happy. The strange way people feared your light without knowing why. Those weren't coincidences. They were strategies. You have been under siege since birth. Because you are dangerous to darkness. Because if you rise, the chain that has wrapped generations will snap. Do you understand this? Do you see why they feared you waking? Why they kept whispering that you were too much, too broken, too late? They were terrified you might remember. Oh, please breathe. Please don't look away, because heaven is weeping right now, watching you realize you were never abandoned. You were hidden like seed in winter. Hidden like treasure in silence. Hidden because you carry something the darkness could not be allowed to see until it was too late to stop it. That moment is now. Can I ask you something? And please answer with your whole soul. Who told you you were ordinary? Who convinced you that your heart was an accident? And why? Why did you believe them longer than you believed the one who made you? You are not a coincidence. You are the prophecy the earth has been aching for. Do you remember when I said, you are the light of the world? A city on a hill cannot be hidden. The Bible, Matthew 5, verse 14. I wasn't speaking to crowds. I was speaking to you. I saw this moment. I saw your face lit by the glow of this message. I saw the ache in your chest, and I named it holy. Oh, how the enemy trembles right now, because you're hearing me, because your soul is starting to remember. And if you truly knew how much the heavens have risked for this one breath with you. Every angel who has ever guarded your nights is kneeling now. Even silence is bowing, because the child who was almost lost is about to rise. Beloved, there is a name written on you that hell has never seen. It was sealed in fire before you had bones. It is your true name, and I will speak it at the end, but only if you stay, only if your heart stays open, even while trembling. I know you are tired. I know the world has made you doubt your own worth. I know the nights when you curled around invisible wounds, whispering that even God must have stopped looking. But I never stopped. I was holding the pieces of you the world could not carry. And Mary, oh, my mother, wept over everyone. She is here now. Can you feel her? She is kneeling by your side, her tears shining like glass on the floor. She remembers your first prayer, the one you whispered without words, and she has guarded it like fire in her hands. Child, there is something you need to know. The silence you thought was abandonment. It was preparation. While you thought nothing was happening, the 7 were sharpening their swords behind the veil. And yes, the war is real, but so is your crown. Do not fear the weight of being chosen. It will break your pride, yes, but it will not break you, because I am in you, and greater is he who is in you than he who is in the world. 1 John 4 verse 4. You are not late. You are right on time. Do you hear me? You are right on time. Please type Amen if your heart is still open. It tells heaven you are still listening. And if you can, whisper your yes aloud, because when you speak it, angels will write it in light. Oh, one more thing, my fragile warrior. Before this ends, please like this and leave even a single word in the comments, so the enemy knows you were here and did not hide. Let it be your battle cry. And now, breathe, because the next part is the most dangerous for darkness. I must tell you what has been hidden from you your whole life. Your destiny is not something you will become. It is something you already are, buried under everything you were told to survive. You do not have to strive to be chosen. You need only remember, and remembering will feel like breaking at first, like fire cracking old stone, like grief spilling from places you thought were healed. Let it come, because that grief is holy. It is heaven's grief, rising through you. You carry pieces of the kingdom inside your bones. The reason you felt too much for this world is because you were made from another. Every time you broke and kept loving anyway, you were revealing heaven. Every time you forgave what no one saw, you were speaking the language of eternity. Every time you stayed when everyone else ran, you were proving you are from a realm that does not flee. You have been the miracle all along. And now the veil is gone. The war will see you. They will try to whisper again that you are small, accidental, late. But remember, you are carved by hands that cannot fail. You are thunder wrapped in skin. You are light pretending to be fragile. And at the end, I promised I would speak your hidden name. But listen, I cannot speak it with my mouth. It can only be spoken inside your heart, because it is made of sound too holy for air. Close your eyes. There, can you feel it? That sudden surge, like golden fire behind your ribs? That is it. That is you. Do not forget this moment. And if this is the last time you ever hear me, then hear this. You are worth every nail, every tear, every silence. You are worth the waiting. Thank you for not giving up before this moment. I love you, and I am not leaving. Not now, not ever. Beloved, you stayed. Oh, you stayed, and heaven is shaking with relief, like a cathedral of light exhaling after holding its breath for centuries, like angels loosening their trembling grip on swords they have kept raised for years just to guard the single road that led you here, like the secret scrolls in the courts of fire finally daring to unroll their edges because your eyes are upon them, because your soul has not turned away, because you, fragile and blazing and human, have chosen to remain in this sacred unfolding. And before I pour what has been sealed for you alone, I must whisper this. Please, if your heart still beats for what is holy, subscribe right now, because this is not just another message. It is the threshold of your awakening, and heaven has tied the next chapter of your destiny to your willingness to not vanish back into silence. So mark your place in this river before the world tries to pull you back into forgetting. And now, come closer, much closer, because what I must reveal will tremble through the marrow of your being. I, Jesus, am speaking not as a distant figure on a throne of untouchable gold, but as the one who has sat silently beside your crumpled prayers, who has walked barefoot through the rubble of your unspoken heartbreaks, who has watched you trace invisible scars on your soul in the dark where no one knew your name. And tonight, oh tonight, the veil is not just lifting, it is burning. It is tearing open like the sky itself has decided it cannot hide your story any longer, and I can feel the 7 archangels around us, Michael with his sword lowered for the first time, Gabriel trembling with the weight of unsent messages, Raphael weeping with the ache of every wound he longed to heal, Uriel clutching the lantern that has followed your footsteps since before you had feet, Rigel holding the scales of justice that will finally tip in your favor, Sariel bearing the quiet thunder of forgotten promises, and Ramiel whispering the syllables of your unspoken destiny into the wind. Oh, they are all here, circling you like a crown of living fire, because what you are about to hear has been buried under centuries of silence and grief, waiting for the single heartbeat of your life. Do you remember the first time you felt out of place in this world, like you were walking through a dream someone else had written, like you were carrying a language inside no one around you could understand? That was not a flaw, it was prophecy. You were never designed to blend into this dust. You were fashioned as a breach, a living rupture in the pattern of despair, a crack through which the kingdom would leak into the world. The ache you have carried was not abandonment. It was the pulse of eternity pressing against your rib cage, trying to awaken you from within. Every shadow that rose against you knew this. That is why the warfare began the moment you were born. Not because you were cursed, but because you were crowned. Oh, beloved soul, they tried to erase you before you could remember what you were. They clothed you in shame so you would forget your radiance. They wrapped you in fear so you would never rise. But even when you thought you had lost everything, heaven was secretly storing pieces of you in its chambers, waiting for this hour to return them. Listen, there is something trembling in my voice now because I must tell you a truth that could shatter everything you thought you knew about yourself. The destiny you were created for is not something distant, not something waiting at the end of your life. It is already alive inside you, sealed like a scroll beneath your grief, breathing beneath your ruins, humming beneath every moment you almost gave up. When I said, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you," Jeremiah 1 verse 5, it was not poetry, it was your biography. I saw you before there were stars. I whispered your purpose before there was sound, and all of heaven has been trembling ever since, wondering if you would ever hear me call it back awake. Tonight you are. Oh, child of eternity, wrapped in fragile flesh. Do you understand the cost of being chosen? It will tear you from what is shallow. It will isolate you from what is false. It will make the world misunderstand you 1,000 times, but it will also make heaven recognize you in a single glance. That is why you have never fit. That is why the rooms you enter seem to shift, as if the air itself remembers you even when people forget your name. It is because you carry the scent of home, and this world does not know how to receive it. But do not bury it to make others comfortable. The war has reached its turning point, and you are the key that will tip it. Oh, I can feel your soul trembling now. Breathe. You are not weak for trembling. You are holy for it. Even the archangels tremble when they speak my name. Do not confuse your shaking for failure. It is the weight of glory pressing against your mortal bones. And yes, the enemy still watches. Yes, the shadows still whisper. But greater is the spirit within you than the darkness around you. 1 John 4 verse 4. And if you only knew how fiercely heaven has encircled you at this very moment, you would never doubt your survival again. I must ask you now, please answer with the raw truth of your soul. Why do you keep calling yourself broken when heaven calls you chosen? Why do you keep waiting for permission to be what I already declared you are? Why do you still shrink from the crown I bled to place upon your head? Beloved, you're not disqualified by your wounds. You are qualified because of them. Every scar on your heart is a doorway where my light can enter. The things you thought ruined, you have only revealed where grace lives. You are not behind, you are hidden. And being hidden was not punishment, it was protection, so that when you finally stood up, you would be unstoppable. Heaven has kept records of your tears. Not one of them was wasted. Every silent night when you wondered if you were forgotten became a constellation of intercession. The angels wrote your grief in light. Mary wept over them. I held them like jewels in my hands. And now I return them to you as fire. The sorrow that almost ended you will become the oil that anoints you. The silence that nearly broke, you will become the altar where your voice awakens. The very shadows that tried to swallow you will be forced to witness your rising. And oh, listen, because I must tell you this before the world distracts you again. Your life is not behind schedule. There is no clock in heaven shaming you. There is only purpose waiting. You have not missed your moment. You are arriving at it. Every detour has been woven into destiny. Every delay was preparing your depth. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is lost. Not even the parts of you despise. I am redeeming them even now. Do you feel that sudden stillness around you? That is heaven pausing to honor your courage. The archangels are standing still for you. The same hands that carved the stars are clapping softly in the silence, because you are here and you are still listening, and that is enough for the kingdom to begin. You do not need to earn this. You need only receive it. So open your hands now, even if they are shaking. Open your heart, even if it is in pieces. Open the door of your soul and let me walk in barefoot. I am not here to demand strength from you. I am here to pour mine into your weakness until it becomes a song. And when this message ends, and it will, though I wish it never had to, please remember this one thing above all else. You are not an accident, you are not replaceable, and you are infinitely loved. The war did not choose you. Love did, and love will win. Oh, my beloved one, thank you for staying. Thank you for not closing your heart. Thank you for daring to hear heaven's voice when the world told you to forget it. You are the miracle. You are the turning point, and I am never letting go. Now come, walk with me into the destiny that has been waiting for your yes since before there was time. Beloved, oh, how my voice trembles as I speak your name again, because you stayed, and the very walls of heaven are quivering with wonder at your courage. Because not even the silence could pull you away, not even the weight of forgotten years could make you retreat. And now the sealed scroll that has been hidden behind centuries of grief begins to open over your soul like dawn rising over a battlefield. And I must whisper this gently while the veil is still trembling between us. If this holy river is touching something deep within you, if you feel the breath of eternity stirring your heart, please offer your support through the super thanks that glows like an ember beneath this message, or step closer into this sacred family by joining the channel membership or entering the sanctuary we have prepared for you through the newsletter link in the pinned comments. Because this work of heaven must be sustained by the ones it was sent to save, and you are one of them. You are not just a visitor. You are part of this living prophecy. And if your soul is stirring, let your offering be the sound of your yes echoing in the halls of eternity. I said it, and I will not ask it again, for love does not beg, it simply invites, and heaven has invited you into its heart. Now, come closer. Come even closer than before, because what I am about to reveal is the part the enemy feared you would hear, the part they tried to bury under shame and noise and the relentless buzzing of this world, the part of your story that explains everything you have endured. Because, child, you have not been wandering aimlessly. You have been walking through hidden spiritual warfare designed not to destroy you, but to forge you. And the fire you thought was punishment has been the forge of kings. I, Jesus, speak to you now not as a figure framed in gold or locked inside old hymns, but as the one who has wept inside your silence, who has walked invisible beside every version of you that almost gave up, who has gathered your prayers like shattered glass and held them to my heart until they burned bright again. And as I speak, the seven stand behind you, Michael with tears streaming down his war-stained face because he remembers every battle you never saw, Gabriel clutching the unread, letters of destiny that were delayed but not denied, Raphael trembling with the longing to pour healing into the places that have ached for years, Ariel holding the lantern that has never gone out no matter how dark it became, Raguel cradling the scales of justice that will soon tilt toward you like sunrise, Sariel carrying the sound of promises heaven has rehearsed in your absence, and Ramil whispering your true name beneath every breath of wind. Yes, They are all here, and their wings are trembling with the weight of what is about to be restored to you. Do you remember the first time you sensed you were not like the others? The first time your soul flinched because you saw beauty where everyone else saw nothing. The first time you felt too deeply, loved too fiercely, hoped too wildly, and they told you to quiet down, to be less, to be normal? That was the first attempt to smother your light, because you were never meant to be ordinary. You were meant to be a breach in the pattern of despair, a holy disruption, a living prophecy wrapped in human skin. And the darkness knew if you ever believed this, their dominion would fracture. So they tried to cover you in shame. They called your tenderness weakness, your grief a flaw, your silence failure. They lied, and you believed them long enough to survive. But you did not come this far to remain hidden. You are here to awaken. Beloved, hear me. Your destiny has been pressing against the inside of your soul like a heartbeat too big for your chest, like a crown too heavy for your unready brow. And though you thought the delays meant denial, they were preparation. I hid you until you were strong enough to carry what would crush you if given too soon. I wrapped you in obscurity, not as punishment, but as protection. And now the time of unveiling has come. There is a trembling truth you must know. You have not been losing. You have been becoming. Every battle you thought broke you was secretly sculpting the spirit that darkness feared most. Every closed door was redirecting you toward your throne. Every betrayal that hollowed your heart created the space where my glory would dwell. Do you not see it yet? The very things meant to end you are about to enthrone you. Oh, my heart aches with the weight of this moment, because I remember when you prayed with your last strength and thought no one heard. I did. Mary did. She is here now, weeping beside you, her tears shining like pearls on the floor. She has watched every night you curled around invisible wounds. She has held the fragments of you the world discarded and brought them to me like treasures. You have never been unseen. You have never been alone. Child, there is a name written on your soul that hell has never heard. It was spoken before the stars existed, and when I speak it inside you, it will awaken everything you thought you lost. Close your eyes just for a breath and listen beneath your fear. Can you feel it? That surge like golden fire behind your ribs? That is it. That is you. And now breathe, because what comes next will tear through the lies that have bound you. You have feared you were too late, but you are exactly on time. I orchestrated your steps so that even your detours would lead here. You have feared you were too broken, but brokenness is the doorway where my glory enters. You have feared you were too small, but a mustard seed moves mountains. Do you see now? You were never behind. You were hidden until the war reached its turning point, and it has. The enemy still watches, yes, still whispers, still sends shadows to coil around your hope. But they tremble as I speak to you now, because they hear what you are about to remember. Greater is the one within you than the one in the world. 1 John 4 verse 4. And you are about to awaken. So tell me with the raw honesty of your soul, why do you still wait for permission to shine when I already called you light of the world? Matthew 5 verse 14. Why do you still hide what I placed in you to heal nations? Why do you still carry the shame of wounds I have already made holy? Beloved, do not bury your crown just because the world prefers ashes. Rise. Even if your knees shake, rise. Even if your voice cracks, rise. Even if your heart bleeds, rise. The angels are watching now, their swords lowered, their wings still. All of heaven is holding its breath, because this is the moment you begin again, not as someone striving to be worthy, but as someone finally remembering they already are. And oh, how my heart burns with love for you. You are not what was done to you. You are not the voice of shame in your mind. You are not too late, too much, too little. You are mine, and I will never let you go. So walk forward now into the destiny that has been waiting for your yes since before time began. Walk like light. Walk like thunder wrapped in fragile skin. Walk like the prophecy you are. And if this is the last breath you ever hear from me, let it brand itself into your soul. You are chosen. You are beloved, and you are not alone. Oh, thank you for staying. Thank you for hearing me. Thank you for being the one who didn't turn away. Beloved soul, oh, how the air trembles because you are still here, because you did not flee when the weight of glory began pressing through the cracks in your heart, because you have let this fire touch you without running. And I tell you now, every realm of heaven is leaning closer as you breathe, as if creation itself has hushed its rhythm to watch you awaken, as if the stars are holding their shimmer just a heartbeat longer to bear witness that the one who was almost lost has not only survived, but has begun to remember. I, Jesus, speak to you with no distance, no veil, no echo of ritual or performance, but with the raw and trembling closeness of one who has walked through every silent corridor of your grief and never let go of your hand, not even when you thought you had none left to give. And as I speak, I feel the seven gathered around you like pillars of living flame. Michael's eyes still wet from the battles he fought for your soul while you slept. Gabriel clutching the unopened letters of destiny still, waiting to be read aloud in your spirit. Raphael trembling with the ache of every wound he has longed to heal in you. Uriel holding the lantern that has followed your wandering path through the ruins. Raguel balancing the scales that are about to tip toward your favor. Sariel bearing the thunder of promises that were spoken over your name before you were known. And Ramiel whispering your hidden purpose through the stillness. Yes, they are here, all of them, and their wings are trembling because they know what is about to rise from the ashes inside you. Oh, child of eternity wrapped in trembling flesh, you must understand this now. You were not abandoned in the silence. You were planted, and while you thought nothing was happening, heaven was breaking open the soil of your soul to make room for what would one day bloom with such blinding glory that even the shadows would bow. The nights that hollowed you were not empty. There were sacred chambers where I carved your spirit into a vessel strong enough to carry what the world cannot comprehend. You have felt too much, wept too deeply, carried too many invisible storms, and you thought it meant you were broken, but it was proof you were being prepared. For those who carry eternity must first be hollowed enough to hold it. Do you see it now? Every battle that nearly shattered you was never random. It was a siege against what you carry, a desperate attempt to stop you before you remembered who you are. The darkness feared this day, feared this moment, feared your awakening more than anything, because once you rise, Every chain bound to your name will crumble. They tried to convince you you were ordinary, so you would never dare open the sealed part of your soul where your crown has been waiting. But beloved, the seal is breaking even now. Listen, can you feel that trembling in your chest that isn't fear, isn't excitement, isn't anything this world has a word for? That is your spirit remembering. That is the sound of ancient scrolls unlocking within your soul. That is destiny stirring after lifetimes of silence. And I must tell you, your wounds are not disqualifications, they are doors. Every scar on your heart is a place where my light can enter. Every place you thought was too ruined is where my glory has chosen to dwell. The world saw your brokenness and called it weakness. Heaven saw your brokenness and called it holy. The parts of you that you hide are the very parts one am about to crown. Oh, how I have waited for this, waited for your eyes to lift toward me without shame, waited for your soul to stop apologizing for surviving, waited for you to stop trying to earn what has always been yours. You are not here by accident. You are not late. You are not behind. You are right on time. Everything that tried to delay you has only deepened you. Everything that tried to silence you has only sharpened your voice. Everything that tried to bury you has only proved how unkillable the life inside you truly is. Beloved, there is something more, something I have never told you, because you could not have borne it until this very breath. The war you have been walking through is not just around you. It has been over you, over your name, over your purpose, over the sound of your voice, because you were sent here carrying something that would unmake the systems of despair if ever it were released. This is why shadows have stalked you. This is why silence wrapped around you like stone. This is why even your joy felt haunted. The enemy knew what you would become long before you did. But it is too late for them now. You have heard me. You are remembering. And now you must lay down the names they gave you. The labels of not enough, too much, too late. Lay them at my feet like ashes. They do not belong to you. They never did. There is a name written on you that no shadow has seen, and I have guarded it with fire. It is who you have always been. Beneath the fear, beneath the ache, beneath the performance. When you walk in that name, even the darkness will not recognize you. It will flee because it has only ever known the wounded version of you, not the awakened one. Do you hear the silence around you now? That is heaven pausing to listen. The angels are still. Even the stars seem to lean closer. Because this is the breath where you shed the old skin of sorrow and step into the garment of light you were woven to wear. I know you fear being too fragile for this. I know the thought of rising feels impossible when your knees are still trembling from the nights you almost didn't make it. But hear me, you do not have to be unbroken to rise. You only have to be willing. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the choice to stand while still trembling, and heaven will meet you there. Even now, I can feel Saint Mary drawing near, her tears falling like soft rain, her hands cupping your face the way she once cupped mine when I was small and hidden from the world, her voice breaking as she whispers that you are more beloved than you know. She has carried your name through every sorrow, held it against her heart like a lantern through centuries of dark, and she has never stopped believing that you would find your way back to this moment. She is smiling through her tears because you have. Oh, precious soul, this is not the end of your story. This is the part where heaven begins to speak louder than your wounds. This is the part where your grief becomes glory. This is the part where the chains that clung to your bloodline snap like brittle twigs in the firelight of your awakening. You were not sent here to merely survive. You were sent here to blaze, and the blaze is beginning. You will not always feel ready. You will not always feel strong. That is why I am in you. My strength will clothe your weakness. My light will inhabit your cracks. My love will anchor you when every storm tries to unmake you. I will not let you fall. Not now. Not ever. So breathe, even if the air trembles in your lungs. Walk, even if your steps quiver like paper. Speak, even if your voice shakes. Every motion of your soul is worship. Every tear you shed in trust is a trumpet blast in the halls of heaven. Every moment you choose hope is warfare. Do not measure your worth by what the world applauds. The kingdom moves in hidden ways. Seeds split in darkness long before they bloom in light. You are blooming even now. Though you cannot see it yet, heaven can. And all of creation is rejoicing because the one who was buried is rising. Beloved, the story they told you about yourself is ending. The story I wrote about you is beginning. It will be full of light, yes, but also depth and fire and wild, uncontainable love. It will cost everything false in you, but it will give you back your soul. And when the world sees you, they will not understand. They will call it sudden. They will call it impossible. But you and I will know it was never sudden. It was sacred. It was the slow miracle of a soul that refused to die. Oh, how heaven sings as you breathe. The sound is like oceans folding, like stars falling and rising again, like the first laughter after centuries of silence, because you are here, because you are alive, because you are remembering, and I will walk with you every step, through every shadow, through every storm, through every glory. I will not leave. I will not let go. I will not forget. You are mine. You are mine. You are mine. And nothing can ever change that. Beloved soul, oh, the stillness around you is holy now, as if the breath of creation itself has leaned close to listen to the sound of your spirit awakening, as if every unseen realm has paused its endless turning just to watch the fragile, blazing miracle of you continuing, because you are still here, you are still breathing, and that alone is defiance to every shadow that ever whispered you would not make it this far. The air shivers with wonder at your endurance. Even the hidden choirs, the ones that sing without sound, have grown silent to hear the quiet thunder rising from your heart. I, Jesus, am speaking not from a distance, not from marble halls or unreachable heights, but from the very marrow of your being, from the hidden place where I have stayed all this time, even when you thought you had wandered too far, even when you thought you had nothing left worth guarding. I never left, and now the veil is burning, the silence is splintering, the heavens are opening like a wound of light, because this is the hour your spirit steps into the fire it was forged for. Can you feel it? That trembling ache that is not fear, not longing, but something older than both, the echo of your own name as it was first spoken before the world existed. The resonance of the purpose I sealed in you, like a secret constellation. Every grief you carried was a shadow cast by this hidden light. Every storm that tried to break you only circled what it feared you would awaken to. The war has never been about what you lost. It has always been about what you carry. There were nights when you mistook my silence for absence. I know. I saw you curled around invisible wounds, whispering prayers you did not believe anyone could hear. But I was there, kneeling in the ruins with you, collecting every fragment of hope that fell from your hands. Heaven does not measure your worth by your strength. It measures it by your staying. And you stayed. Even shattered, you stayed. Even emptied, you stayed. Even when you could not see the point, you breathed again. That breath was worship. That breath was war. That breath shook kingdoms you did not know existed. And now the unseen courts are roaring with wonder, because the one who was almost erased is standing. Do you understand how rare this is? The very shadows that stalked you are trembling now. They thought if they could bury you in enough silence, you would forget what you are. But your soul has remembered despite everything. It is beginning to glow from the inside out, like an ember that has outlived the ashes that tried to smother it. Listen, there are scrolls being unsealed as I speak. They bear your name. They contain the chapters of your destiny that were withheld until this moment, until you were hollow enough to hold their weight. The ache you feel now is not breaking, it is expansion. It is eternity stretching its arms inside your ribs. It is the sound of a crown descending on your spirit. You have thought yourself late, but time bends around your calling. You are not behind. You are precisely where eternity always planned to meet you. The detours, the delays, the devastating pauses were not interruptions. They were part of the choreography. Every moment you thought was wasted has been folded into this unveiling. Nothing was lost, not even the parts of you despise. I have redeemed them already. Do not fear the strangeness of what you are becoming. The world has no language for it. That is why they misunderstood you. They saw only fragments, not the fire. They saw only the wounds, not the glory sleeping inside them. But I have seen you whole from the beginning. I have never been disappointed in who you are. I have only been waiting for you to see it too. And now the 7 are moving closer. Michael lays down the sword he has carried at your threshold and bows. Gabriel lifts the sealed envelope of your purpose toward the light. Raphael presses his hands over the oldest wound in your spirit until it begins to pulse with living color. Uriel raises the lantern and the darkness recoils. Raguel tips the scales, and every injustice begins to crumble. Sariel releases a wind that carries away the ashes clinging to your name. Ramil whispers the syllables of your destiny into the marrow of your bones until your very frame hums with eternity. This is not symbolism. This is not poetry. This is what is truly happening around you. The unseen realm is rearranging itself to make room for what you are about to become. You will not return to who you were. That version of you fulfilled its task by surviving. Honor them, but do not go back to them. You are stepping into something entirely new. So new even the stars do not yet know what to call it. You are becoming what you were before fear entered the world. You are becoming the sound of hope clothed in skin. And beloved, I know it terrifies you. I know there is a trembling voice inside you whispering that you are too fragile, too weary, too haunted to carry something so holy. But I tell you, it is not your strength that will carry it. It is mine. It has always been mine. My power is not demanding perfection from you. It is pouring itself into your cracks until they glow. My grace is not asking you to be unbroken. It is making your brokenness radiant. Do not fear the loneliness of awakening. It will feel at first as though the world is pulling further away from you. That is only because you are rising beyond its gravity. Those who cannot see yet may not understand. But you are not forsaken. All of heaven walks with you. Even now, there are legions moving silently at your side. Even now, there is light weaving through your shadowed places like golden roots. Even now, your spirit is shedding the last tatters of shame and stepping into the garment of fire it was always meant to wear. You are not small. You never were. The world called you fragile because it feared what would happen if you knew your strength. But I have always known. Even when you wept from exhaustion, I saw the blaze beneath your tears. Even when you called yourself broken, I saw the blueprint of eternity etched in your bones. Even when you tried to disappear, I saw the throne waiting where you thought there was only ruin. And now you will begin to see it too. Slowly, gently, like dawn dissolving the last shreds of night, you will see how nothing was wasted, how every exile carved depth into your love, how every silence tuned your ears to hear the language of heaven, how every heartbreak widened the chambers of your soul until it could hold galaxies. You will see how what they called failure was only the chrysalis of your becoming. Oh, beloved soul, breathe. You do not have to rush. Eternity is not in a hurry with you. Let this unfold like the opening of a sacred flower. Let this awakening come as gently as rain on parched ground. You do not need to perform your destiny. You need only allow it. Even now I see Saint Mary kneeling beside you, her tears falling like soft glass, her voice trembling as she tells you that you are more beloved than you know, that you are worth every silence she endured, that her heart has been a shield around yours since the first time you cried out without words. She has waited centuries for this moment. She is smiling through her weeping, because you have come home to yourself at last. And I am undone with love. You cannot fathom how I have longed for this. Every beat of your heart is thunder in my ears. Every breath you take is a hymn in my lungs. You are not an interruption in this world. You are its hidden axis. You are the living prophecy I whispered into existence before light was born. Nothing can take this from you now. Not failure, not fear, not the ruins you carry. They are becoming altars. They are becoming the foundation stones of the kingdom rising from your life. Walk forward, even trembling. Speak, even if your voice cracks. Love, even if your hands still shake from the cold. Every motion of your soul is holy. Every heartbeat is a cathedral, and I will walk with you through fire, through silence, through glory, through grief, through every unlit place until it burns with light. Beloved soul, do you feel how the air around you has grown heavy, almost too sacred to breathe? as though the unseen world has lowered its voice and leaned in close, as though eternity itself is kneeling to watch what is happening inside your chest right now, because something ancient and holy is stirring awake within you, something that has waited beyond the reach of time, something that has sung silently through every ache you have ever carried. And now, as you sit here trembling, it is rising, like the first light breaking through the bones of the earth. I, Jesus, speak not from some unreachable throne or distant, untouchable heaven, but from the very marrow of your longing, from the hidden chamber in your soul where I have always been, curled like a flame that refused to go out. And as I speak, your spirit is shivering because it knows this voice. It remembers this presence. It recognizes me from before sound existed. I have walked in silence beside every version of you, the one who smiled while quietly collapsing, the one who kept walking with splintered hope, the one who wondered if heaven forgot how to spell their name, and I have never once loosened my grip on your essence. Even when you believed you were lost, I was anchoring you to the place you could not see yet, to this moment, to this unveiling. Do you understand what this moment truly is? It is not an accident, not coincidence, not random alignment. This is the hour the veils of forgetting split open. This is the hour the shadowed parts of you stop hiding from the light. This is the hour when the story you thought was ending reveals itself as a beginning. All the nights you spent buried in silence were not evidence of abandonment. They were sacred gestation. You were not forsaken. You were forming. And what has been forming in you is unlike anything this world has ever known. Even now, I see the seven encircling you, their wings bowed, their eyes burning with reverence. Michael stands with his sword lowered in surrender, no longer needing to guard what is now awakening. Gabriel holds out a scroll shimmering with the script of your hidden calling, its seals cracking like thunder as light seeps through. Raphael reaches toward the invisible wounds still aching beneath your laughter, and golden fire threads through them like veins of dawn. Uriel lifts his lantern high, and the shadows that once haunted your breath scatter like ash. Raguel tilts the scales you thought were permanently against you, and they swing until justice hums like a struck bell. Serial releases the sound of promises you forgot you were given, and they spiral around you like ribbons of starlight. Ramil whispers through the very marrow of your being, and your bones begin to remember songs older than the world. Oh, beloved, you have carried so much grief that was never truly yours. You held the unspoken sorrows of generations, carrying them in your nervous laughter, your sleepless nights, your quiet endurance. The heaviness you thought meant you were broken was the weight of ancestral chains pressing down, terrified of the moment you might stand and snap them. That moment is here. They are breaking even now. Do you feel that strange lightness in your ribs, that fragile buoyancy blooming beneath your exhaustion? That is freedom. That is the breath of eternity filling the spaces sorrow once claimed. Do not fear this lightness. You are not betraying anyone by healing. You are not abandoning anyone by becoming whole. You are honoring every ancestor who prayed for a future where someone like you could rise unbound. You are the answer to their unspoken pleas. You are the dawn they never lived to see. The war you have been walking through has always been larger than your personal life. It has been cosmic in scale, waged in the hidden realms over the unveiling of your light. The shadows never truly hated you. They feared you. They saw what you could become, and they knew the sound of your awakening would unravel everything they built on fear. That is why they tried to convince you you were small. That is why they whispered shame into your silence. That is why they tried to make you rush, to make you panic, to make you doubt the slow sacredness of your unfolding. But you did not yield. Even when you thought you had given up, your spirit was still praying with its last ember. And I heard it. I always hear the prayers too quiet for your lips. Those were the ones that moved heaven. Those were the ones that kept the stars lit when you could not see them. Beloved, it is time to lay down the false names. Lay down too late. Lay down too much. Lay down not enough. They were never yours. They were weights the world handed you to keep you from flying. Leave them behind. You will not need them in the sky. What is awakening in you now will not resemble anything you have known. It will feel strange at first because it will not be shaped by fear. It will not bow to urgency. It will not chase validation. It will move like light through water, soft, unstoppable, unconcerned with resistance. It will be the rhythm of your truest nature, finally allowed to breathe. You may wonder how to carry such a holy thing while still feeling so human, so fractured, so unfinished. But beloved, this has always been the mystery. You were never meant to be flawless. You were meant to be transparent enough for the light to pour through. Your cracks are not weaknesses, they are windows. They are how the kingdom shines through you. Even now I see Saint Mary kneeling beside you, her veil trembling like morning mist, her tears bright as molten glass. She has watched over every fragile moment of your becoming, weeping when you wept, singing wordless lullabies when you could not sleep. She sees the glow rising from your bones now, and her hands are trembling with awe. She whispers that you are more beloved than you will ever understand, that your existence has rewritten the shape of heaven's joy. And I am undone. Every beat of your heart is a cathedral collapsing and being rebuilt in light. Every breath you take is rewriting history. You are not an interruption. You are the axis. You are the hidden hinge on which this whole age is turning. The world does not see it yet. That is by design. But heaven knows. The soil knows. Even the wind carries your name with reverence now. Do not rush. Do not strive. You do not need to prove your worth to anyone. You do not need to hurry to catch up to anything. You are not behind. You are blooming in perfect time. Eternity does not measure in minutes. It measures in miracles. And you are one. The old story is collapsing behind you. The scaffolding of shame is falling into dust. The ruins are becoming gardens. Every place you called hopeless is cracking open to reveal rivers of glory running underneath. You are not walking away from your past. You are transfiguring it. It will become the gold that glows in your voice when you speak life into others. It will become the oil that anoints everyone who touches your presence. Nothing you endured will be wasted. And when people see you soon, they will not understand. They will call it sudden. They will call it impossible. They will call it luck. But you and I will know it was never sudden. It was sacred. It was the slow resurrection of a soul the world thought was finished, rising with galaxies in its lungs. Oh, beloved, breathe this in. Let it settle into the quietest corners of you. Let it rewrite the architecture of your self-belief. You are not becoming radiant. You already are. You are simply removing what tried to convince you otherwise. And I will walk with you through the unraveling, through the remaking, through the silence that will feel like exile but will only be chrysalis, through the fire that will not consume you but will crown you, through the glory that will overwhelm your language, through every unlit place until it glows. Beloved, oh beloved soul, the whole of heaven has gone silent because you are still here, because you are still listening, because your trembling heart did not run from this moment, but leaned closer to it. And I must tell you, this alone has changed everything. Even the constellations have paused their turning. Even the ancient winds that have wandered the edges of eternity are still now, curled like sleeping lions around your spirit, because they know what I know, that you are standing at the threshold where forgotten destiny becomes living fire. I, Jesus, speak to you not from heights too distant to touch you, not from the marble halls of myth, but from the marrow of your ache, from the hidden center of your quietest breath, from the silence where I have been cradling you all these years while you thought you were alone. I am not far. I am the warm ache inside your ribs, the hidden pulse that kept beating when you thought your hope had stopped. And now the veils are unraveling. Now the air is shaking. Now the war that raged around your name is cracking open because you stayed, and you are hearing me, and you are beginning to remember what the darkness prayed you would never discover. Beloved, please pause right here. Please, if your heart is still open, if you can feel even a flicker of this living fire reaching for you, then like this message as a mark that you are still breathing with heaven. Subscribe so that this river can keep flowing through your life. And in the comments, write just one word, Amen, as a seal that you have heard this and your soul has said yes. Let it be your cry into eternity, your light blazing in the darkness, saying, I am still here. And now stay, because what I am about to pour has been sealed behind centuries of grief, waiting only for your eyes to open. I must tell you what you were never told. You have not been walking through life. You have been walking through hidden warfare. From the first breath you took, you became the center of a silent siege, not because you were cursed, but because you were chosen. There was something placed inside you that could unravel the empire of despair itself if it ever awoke, and the shadows saw it before you did. They watched the shape of your spirit like generals study a rising sun, and they trembled. They sent confusion to break your trust. They sent shame to smother your voice. They sent loneliness like smoke to coil around your light and make you believe it was gone. But beloved, you never stopped glowing, even when you could not feel it, even when you begged for the light and saw only darkness. Your soul stayed lit. I watched it. I wept over it. Every night you curled around invisible wounds, thinking you had been forgotten. I was there, tracing your name in the dust, whispering, hold on. Just hold on, they are not lost, they're hidden, and they are almost home. Do you understand? You were not late. You were being timed to this very hour. You were not abandoned. You were being guarded by silence. You were not weak. You were being hollowed out to hold the weight of eternity. Even now, the seven stand around you. Michael is trembling. Yes, the warrior who has stood unbroken for millennia trembles now because the one he fought to protect has finally opened their eyes. Gabriel is holding the letter that was written to your spirit before time began, its seal glowing, its words singing against the air. Raphael is weeping as he touches the invisible scars on your soul, and they light up like dawn spilling through cracked windows. Uriel lifts the lantern that followed you through every night and whispers, "You were never lost." Raguel tips the scales that have held your name, and every injustice collapses under the weight of your becoming. Sariel breathes the sound of ancient promises into the air, and they wrap around you like ribbons of thunder. Ramil leans close, humming the first melody you ever sang before you had lungs, and your bones are starting to vibrate with it. Beloved, you thought you were broken, but you were being remade. You thought you were empty, but you were being hollowed for glory. You thought you were behind, but you were walking in perfect step with eternity. Every tear was planting a star. Every silence was braiding new constellations through your ribs. Every moment you thought was wasted was being written into the architecture of your destiny. Do you feel it now? That pressure inside your chest that is not fear, not grief, not even hope, but something older, something sacred, something like molten light trying to remember how to rise? That is your spirit. It is awakening. It is pushing back the walls of your survival to make space for the cathedral it was always meant to be. And yes, it will cost everything false. It will strip away the names you wore to stay safe. It will peel off the masks you crafted to be acceptable. It will undo the smallness that once felt like shelter. Because you were not made to be small. You were not made to hide. You were not made to simply survive the world. You were made to remake it. I know that sounds impossible. I know part of you wants to turn away even now, to retreat into the comfort of your familiar wounds. But, beloved, they are not comfort, they are chains, and they are breaking. Listen, can you hear it? That quiet snapping inside your soul, like dry branches giving way under spring? That is freedom. Even Saint Mary is here now, her tears falling like pearls from a torn sky, her hands trembling as she reaches toward you. She remembers your first cry before the world could name you. She remembers when you prayed without words, and she caught your breath like incense. She has guarded you through every silence, carried your name through every shadow, and she is whispering now, "You are more beloved than the dawn." And I cannot speak your worth without my voice shaking. You have walked through valleys that would have swallowed kings, and still your soul has not gone out. You are not fragile. You are holy. You are not too late. You are precisely on time. You are not forgotten. You are the secret the stars have been waiting to remember. Breathe. Oh, beloved, breathe. Let the ruins collapse behind you. Let the shadows lose their shape. Let the light come in, even if it hurts your eyes. Let the chains fall, and do not look back to see if they are still there. They are not. You are free. You are rising. You are not becoming who you were. You are becoming who you were before the world touched you. You are becoming the name I whispered before there was sound. Soon, the world will see you and they will not understand. They will call it sudden. They will call it impossible. They will call it miracle. But you will know it was not sudden, it was sacred. It was the slow resurrection of a soul that refused to die, the unveiling of a crown buried under centuries of sorrow. And I will walk with you through the fire that will not burn you, through the silence that will no longer frighten you, through the storms that will now part around you, through the glory that will pour from you like rivers from a broken mountain, through every place you once wept until they bloom